Hi, my name is Daquan, and this is perhaps one of the first videos I've done since the passing of Dizzy. It's been a while. It's been a difficult time for me. Out of full transparency, I'm trying to carry on and do this not only for myself but for her as well. I think that's something she would want me to do. So yeah, you might not care. We were fairly new when it came to Don't Digress Dork. We've been on YouTube longer, under different names. The most prevalent name we've been under was The Geek Beacon. But we decided to change branding some point at the end of 2023. So I digress on that fact, but that's not why I'm here today. I'm here to basically talk about a video I recently seen called It's Confirmed, Now What? From the YouTuber DDD Law. It's him on a call with Sai, I think that's his name, and they're discussing many different, the special interview that would have had. And basically, I'm here to basically defend Kid. Kid is overly hated in the One Piece community for little to no reason. I watch a lot of One Piece YouTubers, well, at least American One Piece YouTubers, or Australian sometimes. A lot of them hate Kid. A lot of their fans, especially Agenda Piece, hates Kid. And I have yet to find a reason why people should hate Kid. Kid may not have a lot of screen time, but he's done a lot. He put in work, and everybody hates this guy, Personally, I do think that it is just how things are in the anime community nowadays. The whole entire zeitgeist have changed since I was younger. When I was coming up, anime was not popular at all. I wouldn't say at all. DBZ, you had your DBZ and your occasional Naruto's and your occasional Inuyasha that boosted things in popularity, but for the most part, it was one of those things that wasn't seen or looked upon favorably. When you start off at that time basically back in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was very limited access to Japanese media. The only time you can get it is literally what they distribute in America. What they distribute in America was either censored to the point where it was for kids, or you had to go to one of your local video stores to rent them. So it'll go from squeaky clean, censored to high hell kiddie stuff to extreme adult stuff with like gore, violence, nudity, drug use, everything you could imagine. So back then, you just take what you can get, and you just absorb the story. It wasn't always centered around some super strong shonen protagonist or something super mainstream. Sometimes it was a nice little interpersonal story about a small group of people or a person. Sometimes it was, like I said, a long running franchise. But you just took what you can get. So the narrative was very important, It was very important. But nowadays, you can just get whatever you want, anywhere you want, however you want, through streaming. So people just take for granted their access to both anime and manga. So to me, when it comes to what's important, is the narrative. The narrative says that Kid put in work. Kid traveled to island. He survived 2 years in a new world without being subjugated or working underneath anybody. He basically took down one of Big Mom's commanders and got the rubbing with no casualties. He has Conqueror's Haki, and he also trained with Luffy and rivaled him. You know, he literally rivaled him. He was neck and neck. They were competing. And he also defeated Big Mom with a little help from Law. So, basically, why do people hate Kid? And the only answer and the only conclusion I could come to is essentially agenda piece. Agenda piece is something that I have a very love-hate relationship with. It is something in which I love to laugh. I love to laugh at the things that I love. I love to laugh at the things that I hate. You know what I'm saying? I'm like Shanks in the beginning of One Piece. You can joke and mock whatever I like, as long as it's in good fun. But when you seriously start believing this crap and you start spreading this crap, it's like, you know, especially when it's like either against the narrative or against everything the IP stands for, that's when I have an issue, you know? And I think that a lot of the times, there are select people in agenda piece in which they believe the hype and they basically will, you know, go against everything One Piece stands for. To me, I don't mind people hating Kid, but no one has any good reason to, because I never heard a good reason to. For example, I'll tell you a couple characters that I hate. To give you an example of what I mean, I hate Yamato. Yamato for the Wano arc, or Wano, however you want to pronounce it. I hate her. I do not like her. I think she's a very, very weak character, and I think she's boring. But people glaze and love her and wants her to join the crew, and I'm like, please no. I can give you many reasons why I hate Yamato. I think she's a boring character. They don't push the gag of her loving Odin enough. It's only surface level. Everything she does is surface level. She's just beautifully designed, has cool powers. That's it. She's boring. Yet people talk about her way more than literally any other side character on during that arc. I hate Law. I hate Law because I just think he just he's just a loser. He's a loser. I didn't like him since the moment I saw him, mostly because he just didn't look like he belonged in One Piece. He had like this fuzz hat on, this contemporary shirt and pants. He looked like a hipster. You know what I mean? He looked like he belonged in Bleach at the time when he was first introduced. I was like, this man looks like he belongs in Bleach. He doesn't look like he belongs in One Piece. You know? Or nowadays would be like JJK or something. But I respect him as a character. I don't hate him to the point where I can't give him his flowers. But I do hate him. I think he's a freeloader. I think that he is a wimp, and he has so many L's. There's so many times in the story and the narrative where he looks pathetic, where he has to be saved by Luffy or Sanji or somebody, and that he has little to no ambition to the point where he doesn't even have Conqueror's Haki. And to be fair, Conqueror's Haki's rare, but people just be glazing Law left and right and center. I don't think it's ever warranted. But at the end of the day, I think that from what I've seen, the hatred will continue. I watched Morg's video about Shanks, and clearly he has some weird contempt for Kid, which I don't understand when he talks about him. BD A Law also kind of brushes Kid aside or talks down to him. I've heard him say he hated Kid in one of his videos, and I'm like, I don't understand why. To me, I'm a simple guy. I just want an explanation. If you guys have an explanation to why you hate Kid, please leave it in the comments below. Let me know, because it's one of those things where it's like I've yet to find a satisfactory answer, you know, and that's all I ever want for most things. I just want a satisfactory answer. I want a good reason other than just because. Trust me, bro. So, alright, well, until next time, later, dorks.